Tyreek Hill getting pulled over by the cops on the way to the game. So, as an ex-police officer, I refrain from commenting on these things until I see the whole video, because we only saw Tyreek getting handcuffed. So once I saw the whole video, this is what people with common sense that can really step back and be objective and not just jump to conclusions, not to say I'm on somebody's side or this was going to happen when I give my commentary on this. There's going to be people like, "Oh, Gary, you're showing your true colors now. Your cookout, your cookout invite is about to be revoked." No, but let's just really think about it. And I watched Stephen A. Smith talk about it. I agree with what he said. Were the cops too aggressive? Yes. As a police officer, our job is to de-escalate, decompress the situation. If somebody's wilding up, we got to bring them down. We got to tell them relax. So when the cops pulled Tyreek over for speeding, Tyreek was completely in the wrong how he started talking to the cops. He first said, "Don't pound on my window. Don't pound on my window like that," right off the bat. And then he rolled up his window, and then you're challenging the officer's authority. We got to realize, and I always try to keep this in the back of my mind. One thing I did learn, and I was a cop in the Navy Police Academy, was every situation is different. You got to handle every individual different, and people are going to have bad days on both sides of it. The guy getting pulled over and the cop pulling him over. You don't know what kind of day they're having. So every time I've been pulled over, and I know I'm a white dude and everything, I've been pulled over by black cops, white cops, Latino cops. Never been pulled over by an Asian cop yet. But I always try to kind of be lighthearted, give them a smile. Sometimes I've been stressed, and sometimes you just got to tell them, So I think if Tyreek wouldn't have just immediately went on the attack with the officers, it wouldn't have escalated as fast as it did. Once he challenged their authority, that's when they clicked out, they snapped, and the one cop was just out of control. When he said, roll down your window. And you got to realize, the cops don't know if somebody's got a gun in the car or anything. We've seen those videos all the time where the guy gets out and just starts blasting the cop. So they're on edge. But the one cop, when he dragged Tyreek out, I go, you can't tell somebody, get out the car, and don't give him a chance to get out the car. Literally, he said, get out the car. And Tyreek was like, getting out the car. And then that's when the cop just went left, and that's when everything exploded and everything went wrong. So Tyreek was wrong in how he initially addressed the police officer. That male ego, everything else kicks in. The cops, and when one cop's going, the other cop gets going. And then another cop gets going. Just like if one cop comes in calm, the other cop will come in calm. And it just got escalated fast. And look, and a couple of Tyreek's teammates came over. The way they talked to Calais Campbell, who anybody that knows Calais Campbell, and that's been my boy for 10 plus years, one of the nicest guys on the planet, one of the most law-abiding citizens on the planet. He is just a salt of the earth, good human being, whole family's cool, one of the best guys you ever want to meet. And they snapped on Calais? I'm like, all right, slow down, bro. Slow down. Look at Tyreek's past, and that's what people are going to go to and be like, well, look, he shouldn't have been speeding. He's already got these domestic allegations against him, blah, blah, blah. Show me one thing on Calais Campbell. One thing on Calais Campbell where he was out of control, went at the cops, got in trouble, had a domestic dispute. That guy is, if you have a son, you want him to be like Calais Campbell. So when they went off on Calais, I go, oh, they wilding right now. They wilding. So I just think when you look at the full video, it all started completely wrong. And I'm not justifying how aggressive the cops were. But to say that Tyreek handled it perfectly also, you're just not watching the video with an open mind. You just want the cops to be assholes, which they were in this situation, but just to start it off, like, and this is my thing too with people, police officers getting pulled over, and in life in general, everybody's not the same. We gotta stop saying like you're gonna treat everybody the same. No, you ain't. No, if I'm a police officer, I pulled Tyreek Hill over on the way to the game because he was speeding. If he comes at me correct, I'm just letting him ride. Like, oh man, you're running late. Let's get to the game, have a good game. It's no different than somebody's pull somebody over and they're speeding and my wife's in labor. I'm trying to get to the hospital. I hope he's not lying, but all right, just slow down. All right, get back in traffic. Or, I got a relative on their last rites. I'm just trying to get to the hospital to say my goodbyes. I get it. There's certain situations that anybody would speed. Well, we got to stop acting like we're perfect. But at the same time, when the cop comes and knocks on the window, even if the cop didn't knock on his window that hard, but Tyreek goes, don't knock on the window that hard. I was just like, right off the bat. And then he wouldn't roll down the window. And then the biggest thing was he was challenging their authority. That's something you cannot do, because at the end of the day, Tyreek's objective was to get to the stadium and play in the game. So anything that's going to stop you from doing that, just don't do it. And it's not worth it. It's not worth it. As soon as the cop pulled him over, I'm running late. I got to get to the stadium. I understand you have a job to do, officer, but if you're going to give me a ticket, can you just give it to me? I really got to get going. My bad on the speeding part. And that's it. Keep moving. Even if we've all dealt with asshole cops. I've dealt with them too. The worst part is getting pulled over and being polite and then still getting the ticket. You're like, I'd be like, well, I should have just been an asshole to him. But you cannot challenge their authority. It's just not gonna bode well for you in the moment. You might win in the long run, but it's still a headache. You still gotta, now you're doing all these PR. Instead of talking about the game, you're talking about getting pulled over and demanding for the cops to be suspended and things like that. And it's just energy you don't need, where you could just be focused on football at this point of your life. So, like I said, I just think if you look at it objectively, Tyreek escalated the situation. And then as soon as that one cop, it took that. The one cop was actually kind of patient at first when he was tapping on the window. Hey, you got to roll the window down. Got to roll the window down. Got to roll the window down. And then when that one cop came in, I was like, enough of this. Get out. Get out the car. And then they pulled him out. You cannot give somebody a command and not give him a chance to do it. He just dragged him out of the car. He was like, he wasn't fighting. He wasn't saying, I'm not getting out of the car. He literally was like, all right, I'm just moving slower. The best is Tyreek. I had knee surgery. I was like, bro, you bald. I want that knee surgery that you had. If that's what knee surgery is going to make you play like, I want that knee surgery.